The Eiffel Tower, one of the most iconic landmarks in the world, was not always as famous as it is today. It stands tall in the heart of Paris, a symbol of French creativity, engineering, and ambition. But its history is quite fascinating and full of interesting twists. The Eiffel Tower was designed by a brilliant French engineer named Gustave Eiffel. However, it wasn't just his design that made the tower stand out. It was the way he brought it to life. Gustave Eiffel was a master of iron structures and had already made a name for himself with various bridges and railways. But the Eiffel Tower, which would later bear his name, would be his greatest achievement. It all began in the late 19th century, when the French government wanted something truly extraordinary for the 1889 World's Fair, also known as the Exposition Universelle, which was being held to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. They needed a structure that would be a fitting symbol of modern France, one that would show the world how far the country had come in terms of industry, science, and engineering. Eiffel's proposal was ambitious, a giant iron tower standing 300 meters tall. This would be the tallest structure in the world, and it would outshine anything built before it. At the time, many Parisians, and even some prominent architects, didn't believe it was a good idea. They thought it would be an eyesore, ugly, and out of place in the elegant Paris skyline. Despite the skepticism, Eiffel and his team began work on the project in 1887. The construction was a feat of engineering. Over 0 pieces of iron were carefully assembled using more than 2.5 million rivets. It took just over 2 years to complete. And on March 31, 1889, the Eiffel Tower was officially finished. It was a massive success, so much so that it became the star of the World's Fair, attracting millions of visitors. But not everyone was impressed. Some of the critics, including famous artists and intellectuals of the time, wrote a letter protesting the tower, calling it an eyesore and a monstrous addition to Paris. They couldn't imagine how this giant iron structure could ever fit into the elegant city they loved. However, time proved them wrong. The Eiffel Tower became a symbol of French ingenuity and vision. It was originally supposed to be temporary, dismantled after 20 years. But it was so loved and useful, especially as a radio tower, that it remained standing. Today, the Eiffel Tower is one of the most visited monuments in the world, attracting millions of tourists every year. Gustave Eiffel, who initially faced criticism, is now remembered as one of the most brilliant engineers in history, and his tower continues to stand tall as a symbol of human creativity, innovation, and resilience. So, the next time you see the Eiffel Tower, remember its fascinating story. It wasn't just the work of a man, but of a vision that turned skeptics into believers.